Hello, I'm back with a little bit of a different video today. So, this video will just be a kind of free flowing discussion of my attendance at DragonCon here in Atlanta for 2023. So, I've been attending, I would say, DragonCon now for probably at least 6 to 7 years, something like that. And typically, my husband and I, we kind of coordinate cosplays together. This year we decided to take it just a little bit kind of easy, and so my husband didn't do any cosplays, and I only did one. So just kind of recapping, so we go to the hotel. We actually stay in town at one of the hotels, and if you're able to, I definitely recommend that because there is so much to do. It's easy to get tired. It's nice to have a place to like go back, take a break, take a nap even. So we do that. Even though we're here in Metro Atlanta, we do get a hotel. So we have always stayed at the Sheraton, which is now called the Cortland Grand. And so we did that again this year. That's definitely for people who haven't been to DragonCon. It is definitely one of the quieter hotels. Um, I guess I should just say, I'm assuming if you're watching this, you know what DragonCon is, but if you don't, it's basically a huge, what kind of convention can I call it? It really has about everything at this convention. There's gaming, there's science, there's paranormal, which they call X track. There's like so many tracks. There's a kids track, there's a Brit track, there's a costuming track, anime. So really there is just about anything for anyone who is of the like nerd and geek persuasion. You'll definitely find something there that fits you. Also, there's also a space track. So there's a lot that goes on and a lot to attend. Of course, those are like the panels, but there's also, different theme parties that go on as well. And there's also some like official events that occur at other sites in Atlanta, like the aquarium. They have an official DragonCon event there. So, and every year they always have a charity. And they have a huge blood drive that goes on too. So those are kind of some of the other events that go on. But so we got down there on Thursday, right? And like I said, we have always stayed at the Sheraton and we have never had this problem before. But when we got into our room, it definitely, I wasn't sure what the smell was at first. To me, initially, it almost smelled like maybe an animal had been in there. But then the more we were kind of in and out the room, it smelled almost as if like the carpet had been wet. You know how like a kind of mildew smell, and it was very strong. And we have never had any problems like that, like in all of the years that we've stayed at this location. They recently came under new management. I don't know if that speaks to how the place is being taken care of, but it was like so overpowering that I actually walked to a CVS nearby and got like 2 plugins because I was like, something's gonna have to cover up this smell while we're here. And the whole hotel is packed, so it's not like you can go and get a different room. So you're pretty much stuck with what you get that weekend. So I did actually do that. Again, that's really the first time we've ever had that problem. So hopefully that was just kind of a one-off. I guess the other thing that happened that is not typical is when we came, we could not park at the hotel. They said that the parking spaces were all full, which again, the festivities don't really start till Thursday typically. So this is the first time in all of the years that we have stayed there that we have had to go and find offsite parking, which was, I don't know. I felt some kind of way about that. And also that we weren't notified before we got there about the prospect that the whole garage was closed. Um, yeah, it just seemed unusual that it would be like totally full at that point in the convention. And I was hearing some people say that maybe the parking is owned by a different entity. I don't know how true that is. And so maybe they were just allowing just anyone to park there as opposed to just people from the hotel. I mean, that would kind of make sense about how it could be full, like so early in the convention, I think. But anyway, that was kind of a irritant. But otherwise, our check in and everything was without a hitch. And it's funny because I would say almost every other year we've been there, like the elevators have had a problem. One of the main elevators, like in the South Tower where we usually stay. But this year we didn't have any problems with the elevator. So that was nice. So we got all checked in. Thursday we didn't really do too much. Just kind of chilled and everything. And Friday we spent the day doing just a lot of different panels. And again, because in most years, like when we're both cosplaying together, just because, it takes a while to get ready. And we have been doing cosplays that required like makeup application or application of a wig. It just took a long time. So we couldn't really get started till like noon most days because we were getting ready. But because we didn't do that this time, I mean, I was up and I got a good night's sleep on Friday, so I was up early at a panel on the like 8:30 in the morning because it was something really interesting, and I felt rested. Usually, you're tired because you're up and walking around and it's hot and all that, but this year, I got a lot more rest just because I wasn't having to deal with all the cosplay, makeup, and stuff. But that's how we pretty much spent the weekend. I mean, we've done different parties in the past. The Bunny Hutch, which is kind of a Playboy theme party, the last party on Alderaan. So hopefully for some people you'll get that reference. We've done like different parties in the past, but we didn't really do much in the way of that kind of social event. We really just spent a lot of our time, relaxing in the room, attending different panels. We actually did take an epic photo shoot. You know how you can take one of the photos, a picture with one of the like local celebs, and so we did that. My husband is a huge Tolkien fan, and so we took a picture with, I believe it is Elijah Wood and Sean Astin. I'm not sure. I think it's Astin. We paid and got a picture with them, which was really cool. I'm trying to think of like some of the panels I like the most from this year. I would say one of the most unique talks I went to was one called Cause Positivity, kind of like cosplay and body positivity. And that's definitely new and a topic that I haven't seen before. I went to quite a few science and space talks this time, which is a little bit different. Typically, I attend the extract, which has like all of the paranormal stuff. So, like ghost hunters, haunted houses, anything about cryptids like Bigfoot, Dogman, all these like monster kind of things. I usually attend a lot of different of those, but this year I noticed, and I also usually attend a lot of things on the skeptic track, which tend to be kind of science based and oriented as well. But this year I did some paranormal stuff, but I really did a lot more like science talks. I went to a space talk. And then I went to one called Holly Weird, which talked about um like movies and representation of like neuroscience and psychology in media. So that was pretty cool. That was a late one. I think the latest panel I went to was at 10. And of course, part of just being here is just kind of people watching, seeing all the cosplays. I did a very simple cosplay, Prince Amidala cosplay that I've done, I think maybe one other time. And that one doesn't require any makeup or anything. I just didn't feel like dealing with that this time, particularly with the heat. Although compared to previous years, this was a pretty cool like con. I mean, it was a nice breeze and everything. So this would have been a great year actually to have on all the makeup like last year I had when I did Avatar, because it was much hotter and I was much sweatier then. But I got a couple of cool pics. I'm gonna include some at the end of this video. But over and all, we had a good time. It was just very relaxing. It's kind of always good to get away. We did not do the parade. I think if you've never been to DragonCon, you definitely should do the parade at least once. But again, we've done that like several years, and you have to get up pretty early to get a good spot. So we did not do that this year. Again, we kind of were up early doing other panels and stuff we wanted to do. The other thing we didn't do this year is go to America's Mart. That's where the vendor hall is. And it's like a couple, maybe two or three stores. I can't remember. I think it's 2 or 3 stores of just vendors and people selling things. And let me tell you, the line for that is so long, unless you just happen to hit it at the right time. But it can take you easily, 2 hours is not unusual to like stand in the line trying to get into America's Mart. So we did not do that this year either. I think neither one of us just had the patience or desire to go in there this time. But again, if you've never done it, I would definitely say, go to the vendor hall. And for those of you who don't know, you can really save on your membership if you get it the year before. So when they open it up, I think it's open now to get your membership for next year, particularly if you want a whole weekend badge, you save a lot of money if you get it a year early. So, and typically the hotels will open up about a year early too. So we usually reserve that like a year ahead of time. If you're thinking about going, you want to do things as early, as possible as you can. But anyway, that's just a brief recap. I had a really nice time. And again, I'll add a few more pictures here at the end, and I will talk to you next time.